Breaking news: a home was reduced to rubble and nearby homes were partially damaged. In the early hours of 12th of May 2026, these strikes are coming from an uh, Israeli military in the town of Jibkit, and this is in the southern Lebanon. Very quiet morning, In southern Lebanon, people must have been asleep. Of course, even if the country or that part of Lebanon is in big chaos, it doesn't still mean that they wouldn't sleep. Of course, they will. So residents say that the strike happened suddenly, sending a massive explosions through areas and filling the skies with smoke, dust, coming from people's houses that have been taken down. Videos and images emerging from scene shows piles of concrete, twisted metals, shattered windows, and frightened families gathering outside damaged homes. People's houses being displaced within a twinkle of an eye is not a joke. People trying to access their stuffs, gathering outside damaged homes trying to assess the destruction is something that you couldn't just imagine. Waking up from a sleep and maybe you survive that, destruction. You are looking at your stuff, your hard-earned, money, hard-earned building, hard-earned properties, just getting to the dust just like that. So that's not good, and that's exactly what is happening in Lebanon. It's not just a story, this is a current information. According to local reports, one residential house was reduced entirely to rubble, while surrounding properties suffered partial structural damage. From the force of the blast that happened, emerging workers and residents rushing to the area shortly after explosions and searching through debris and checking for people who have casualties, at least to rescue them, at least to help the ones that received maybe injury or something. They need medical attention. People had to come around to see if they can help. The Israeli military has not yet released the detailed statement regarding the target of the strike. However, attacks in southern Lebanon have even become one of the targets, increasing frequent amid rising tensions between Hezbollah and Israel along the border region. Guys, this particular place, Jigit, lies in an area considered a stronghold of Hezbollah, the Iran-backed armed group that has exchanged fire with the Israeli forces repeatedly over the recent months. Since the escalation of conflict in this region, the Lebanese town has faced severe damage. They have faced near daily fears of strikes, artillery shellings, drone surveillance, and cross-border attacks. People can't just cross the border so easy like that. For civilians living in these areas, the psychological toll continues to grow. Many families say they now live with constant uncertainty, constant fear. They live as people who do not even have homes, never knowing when the next explosion could happen. They don't even know when the next problem could happen. Even their neighborhood, they don't even know when the strike could come. At least these latest strikes, they are airstrikes, and once again raises fears that the confrontation between Israel and the Hezbollah could spiral into much broader regional conflict than what it is already. Although both sides, have so far, avoided full-scale conflicts. Both Hezbollah and Israel have avoided full-scale conflicts. The frequency and intensity of attacks have steadily increased. It's not just that they are actually taking the strikes small because of the civilians, because of normal people. Southern Lebanon has long been one of the Middle East's most fragile flashpoints. The border area witnessed devastating issues, between Israel and Hezbollah in 2006. A conflict that by more than thousands of people. Many people in Lebanon, their homes were even displaced. Hundreds of families left the Lebanon city. Many people had to leave their homes to start living with other families in other areas. Hundreds and thousands, and it caused widespread of destructions to home and infrastructures in Lebanon as of 2006. Now, nearly 2 decades, at least, later memories of that war remain fresh. For many airstrikes, many residents who have experienced this airstrike, every new strike revives fear that history could repeat itself. What happened in 2006 might happen again in 2026. And after some decades, there is this uncertainty in the mind of people that what has happened before could actually come back to happen again. Local authorities in Lebanon have repeatedly accused Israel of targeting civilian areas. Why don't you target the military areas? Why are you targeting the civilian quarters, at least where the civilians are living? While Israel argues that Hezbollah operates within the residential zones. they use the civilian areas and infrastructures to shield military activities. That means they don't want to stay in the military zones. The Hezbollah don't stay in the military zones. They have to come hide in the civilian areas. So human rights organizations have often warned that civilians remain trapped in the Middle East of this, in the middle of this confrontation between Israel and the Hezbollah. That means Israel has to stop targeting the civilian areas. The damage inflicted may appear very small compared to a larger conflict, raging across the region. What is happening right now may appear small, but for families whose homes were destroyed or even damaged, the impact is enormous. Of course, it's too much. A single airstrike can actually erase years of hard work. It could make people go back to where they started from. Imagine somebody working years to build a house, to acquire company, to build stuff, farmland, establish it, and all of a sudden you realize that those things have been taken away from you. Displace entire household and leave communities living in fear. After the smoke clears, people now have to be like, I don't know where to start from. They wouldn't even know what to think or how to start or how to even start building their life again. So as the rescue crew continues examining the rubbles today, the strike serves as another reminder of how instability along Israel to Lebanon border can escalate, and how ordinary civilians continue to pay the highest prices of one of the world's most volatile regions. But anyways, guys, this is current information on table right now. It looks like Israel are just looking forward to those areas where people are staying instead of going to those areas, which is the military zones. Now, the World Health Organization are warning against such because it's not even good for normal civilians who are living their normal lives. We just have to pray for Lebanon and also pray for Israel. Stay tuned.